we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV. Here we are.
I've been, like everybody else, been kind of following what's been going on. And I'm concerned about it. I don't want anybody to get hurt. At the same time, I think that they've been hurting us for a long time. And I completely support all the protests that are out there. I've been really kind of discerning what's been going on, trying to understand. You guys know that's what maybe you don't know, but in case you don't know, one thing I like to do is I like to understand things. So one of the things that I was really curious about was who's really behind all of this. Who's behind all of the violence and the chaos? Because most black activists I know don't go and just burn down buildings and shoot people and bust windows and stuff like that. I mean, that speaks to you guys may or may not know about the anarchists, but there's the anarchists, Antifa. That's one of the organized groups that was actually started back in the 1930s when Adolf Hitler was and the Nazis and the fascists were rising up. Antifa was created as a counterbalance to the fascists. And so a lot of times black people get dragged into these far left battles, that they have with the far right that are global in nature. So it reminds me of Vietnam, how the Vietnamese people, they were just trying to get free. They were just trying to escape the grip of the French, and then they were trying to escape anybody controlling their country. And next thing you know, they're in a big battle between the communists and the, and then the capitalists. And it became this crazy Vietnam War, and lots of Vietnamese people died. They were used as pawns, for a bigger agenda. So I think that for black people, you have to be careful because you're being used for a bigger agenda. And people know this. I did a survey today, and I was asking people, asking you guys, because I only care about what you all think. And whatever everybody else thinks, it doesn't matter to me. And I was asking, do you think things like Black Lives Matter, do you think that's a legitimate black-run organization? And I think 83% of the respondents said no. They felt like it was something that was controlled from the top by somebody else. And then also the protests. I said, who do you think is doing all the looting and all the destruction and the burning buildings down and shit like that? Is it black people, or do you think it's, opportunists? Or do you think it's police agents? And there are maybe 23% said police agents. A big percentage, the majority said opportunists. 5% said it was the black people. Because, on one hand, black people don't roll like that typically as a collective. But then also, to some extent, I kind of think it kind of makes you you need to reflect on that too. And the fact that these are people that know what it takes to win a war too. Sometimes we are a little bit too docile. Sometimes we're a little bit too timid. Sometimes we're a little bit too kumbaya. We shall overcome. Let me kiss Master's toes and hope that he gonna be nice to me. You can't do that either. You're never gonna win anything that way. So they actually have a point. To a point. What it reminds me of? I remember when I was at the University of Kentucky campus and I was in grad school. And there was this black woman who got attacked in a racial incident, and we had a month-long protest on that campus. It was the biggest protest on that campus that they had in 20 years. I don't think they had another protest that big for another 25, 30 years. Anyway, we were protesting, and there was a girl from France, and she was part of like a different culture when it comes to protesting. Like she was far left, everything else. So she was down for the cause. But we'd be in our meetings, like planning like what we were going to do. And we'd be planning to do a silent protest or a rally or whatever. And she'd be like, we need to go burn down the administration building. And we'd be like, what? Because we're not, black people ain't really trying to go get kicked out of school and get arrested or get shot, beat up, whatever. But maybe there's something to learn from people that really know what revolution looks like. I'm not saying that that's what we should do. I'm just saying that, it made me think like, oh, wait, you mean there's another level to this? There's a way to turn up the heat. And I think that maybe because we've been scared to turn up the heat, we've definitely been fighting in the wrong way. Like, I don't think that what we've done to this point has been effective. So I think just kind of learning from how everybody else kind of handles situations like this can teach you a few things. So anyway, let me Let me read some of your questions real quick. By the way, if you want to learn how to be an investor, Dr. Claude Anderson always says that an economic base is important for us to build as a community. We're doing a free Black Stock Market Challenge tomorrow where you're going to learn how to get started as an investor or how to elevate your game. So if you'd like to join, feel free to go to theblackstockmarketchallenge.com. THE, that's theblackstockmarketchallenge.com. You can register up until midnight tonight. After midnight tonight, and tonight is by meaning by May 31st, and by midnight you can't register after that. It'll be locked up. Let's see. A white gunman was shooting people here in Minnesota last night. They got us on curfew here now at 4 p.m. in Santa Monica. See, Santa Monica, I went to Santa Monica. That does not come off as a place where they'd be getting out of control over the rights of black people in Santa Monica. It just doesn't come off that way. I think I saw Des Moines, Iowa. These are just places where it just doesn't add up. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I feel like it just doesn't make any sense. It's not cool at all. What are we going to do when we run out of food? Tell me that. That's true. We need to learn to grow our own food. In fact, the next house I buy, I told Alicia, I said, I want to have a big yard so we can put a big garden back there because I want to be able to grow our own food. And I want to have weapons. And I'm actually going to take a course on survivalism so that I can just kind of know what I'm missing, what I'm not paying attention to, because I do think, the shit really could go down and you really want to be ready. So I'm actually thinking a lot about that these days. Do you feel it's about big business looking for insurance payments? No, I don't think Starbucks would run like an insurance scam or anything like that. Maybe there are some businesses out there that are thinking that way, but I don't think most of them are. Most businesses, insurance is not designed for you to feel good about the payoff. Insurance is designed to repair damage, economically that occurs when you lose something. It's not designed to give you a come up. They are starting to destroy black-owned businesses here in Minnesota, and that's not right. No, it's not. It's not, but at the same time, as business owners in the black community, I think sometimes we have to also sort of realize that, if we're not part of the solution, we can be part of the problem. I think 2 Chainz was begging everybody not to tear down his business. But the question becomes, as a celebrity, how are you really getting in there, getting those nasty fights for black people? I'm not saying that he's not doing it. I'm just saying that in general, I know as a business owner, I know one responsibility I have as a black business owner is I got to be where the people are at. Like, I can't be over here talking about this and dealing with this while the people are over there. Like, I need to be where the people need me, and I need to be willing to jump out there and do what needs to be done, So, and right now, I can't be at the protest now because I had the family thing I had to do. But if my God, I wanted to go straight to Minnesota. Like, I really did. In fact, actually, the last time Louisville, Kentucky had a big protest, I actually would say I was the leader of that protest. Like, we actually were protesting on behalf of a judge there by the name of Judge Olu Stevens, and I led that protest. I put that together because I think that shit needs to get done, and I think that in general, anybody who has a position of privilege, leadership, or access to wealth or anything like that, I think there are things you can do. And Don Lemon, ironically, it's crazy. I hate saying this. It drives me crazy to say this, but I got to give credit where it's due. Don Lemon has not liked me for a decade, and I have not liked him. But I heard Don Lemon say something where I was like, fuck, now I got to give him credit. But Don Lemon was calling out all the celebrities, all the black celebrities, saying, where are you? What are you doing? Why are you sitting in your mansion, like, not doing anything? Like, you should be at it. And he started naming names, and I said, wow, that's a big deal for a guy like Don, because Don knows all these people, and they're probably mad at him because people aren't used to being asked to be accountable to black people. So I had to give Don props. Again, I don't like Don. I just don't like that guy. But you know what? I had to challenge myself and say, okay, boys, if you're really going to be fair, you got to give this son of a bitch credit. And I do. Don made a good statement right there. That doesn't mean he's not full of shit about 80% of the time. But in that moment, Don represented. Props to Don Lemon. I still don't want to go on his damn show. Last time I was on his show, this son of a bitch tried to ambush me. It didn't work though, because I'm smarter than he is, so it's easy for me. We need to create a new justice system. Yes, we do. That's the issue, right? The issue is, if you want to know what I think is the core issue is that white people have a reluctance to dig to the core of the problem. And I'm not talking about all white people, right? Because there's some white people out there that really are really trying to do the right thing. I have no issue with those individuals, but I think at the end of the day, the entire system, you have to dig for the roaches at the core. You got to go kill the roach's nest. The roach's nest in this system lies in the fact that Dr. Claude Anderson explains to y'all didn't learn this in school. That's why you got to listen to people like Dr. Anderson. That's your history teacher. That's the parent that loves you, that's really teaching you the game. He's explained how modern policing was built off of paddy rollers and slave hunters and shit. Like they were not designed to serve and protect everybody. The police department was designed to serve and protect white people, to protect them from black people. They were like, here, we want y'all to have all the guns. We don't want black people to have any guns, because when you see a Negro out of line or in a place he ain't supposed to be, you're supposed to chase him down and say, boy, what are you doing out without your papers? That's the same thing that happens now. So you must deconstruct the entire process if you're going to get to the root of this. And they're unwilling to do that. So if I had an issue with the Trump administration's guy who was speaking on the matter, my big issue with him, I don't get all emotional about the Trump stuff the way everybody else does. I think him and Biden are kind of similar, to be honest. If you look at Biden's track record, Biden is not the guy that you really should ever expect to really modify this criminal justice system, because he dug his teeth into it. He sinks his heels into it. He's a cop-loving politician. So Joe Biden ain't your guy. But the Trump guy was speaking, and one area where I saw progress, just me trying to be balanced and logical on this, I saw progress in one sense. Everybody from the left to the right, they all agree that George Floyd should not have died. They all agree, like there's no debate really anywhere. Even I listen to the left and the right. I watch MSNBC for their bullshit. I look at Fox News for their bullshit. Then I watch CNN for their bullshit. And then I get all the shit that's on the internet, and I try to form my own opinion with all the evidence. And one of the things I can tell you is that one area where I can see progress in our society is that 20 years ago, the people on the right never would on any level agree that what that cop did was wrong. The people on the right would dig as far as they could to find any reason that he deserved to get what he got. Because the thinking back, say 10, 20 years ago was, if you disobey a cop, you deserve whatever you get. That if you didn't want to die, you should have did what the cop told you to do, right? And that's a different ideology than what we have now, which says that cops, that there is such a thing as police brutality. There literally were people less than 20 years ago who didn't think police brutality was even real. Like, what do you mean? Like, if you don't want the cop to beat you, then do what he says, right? And so we evolved past that point. Even Trump agreed that George Floyd should not have died. That sounds tiny, but that's a big deal. Because 20 years ago, I don't think guys like Trump even had to even admit that he shouldn't have died. So I think that means maybe we are making some progress. I think that all these protests are beautiful. It's raising awareness on the issue. Some shit might get burned down. Some windows might get busted. Well, fuck it. It's capitalism. Capitalism is the greatest economic engine in the history of the world. This shit's gonna be fixed in a week, right? Your biggest problem is that you might have a decade-long depression that results from the fact that they bullshitted you into shutting down the entire economy and giving up 36 million jobs. That's what's gonna be your problem, is that all this happened right in the middle of the pandemic, but the pandemic and the chaos are connected. Social uprisings tend to happen when motherfuckers can't go to work, because people sitting at home like, damn, I can't go to work. I've been sitting around drinking and smoking all day because I ain't got nothing to do. I lost my sense of purpose. Wait, there's a social cause. I think I'll go out in the street with my mask on that the government told me to put on so I can be looking like a bank robber and go out and become part of the activist culture and start busting windows and shit, right? People are looking for a purpose. Before, their purpose might have been getting up and going to work every day. Now their purpose is like, I want to watch the world burn. And I'm not saying that that's wrong or right. I leave that to you to judge, but I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what I'm seeing right now. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. You can warn me all day about coronavirus and stuff. The numbers don't support you. The numbers support my argument that you shouldn't have shut down the whole economy over this virus, because this virus was not the threat that they claimed it to be. They were playing political football with you, and they were manipulating you, and they're still manipulating you, by the way, with whatever spin they're taking on this whole situation that's going on now. But the manipulation during the corona thing was absolutely shameful, and I didn't fall for that shit not one bit. When in my stock market class, I told my students, I said, this is going to go away. Everything, all the stocks are cheap. Go buy as much as you can, because once they realize that the bullshit's done, once they pull the wool off of the wool off the beast, you're gonna find out that there was nothing there in the first place. That it was all a big motherfucking Trojan horse. I'm gonna stop cussing. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. I'm gonna answer some questions on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So, and also, don't forget the Black Stock Market Challenge starts in the morning. You can join for free. It's theblackstockmarketchallenge.com. That's theblackstockmarketchallenge.com. thechallenge.com. So what are we going to do after all this is over? Is separation the only thing? Well, I've been separating a long time. I think separation is possible. That's why I've been telling you guys since the very beginning. I think every black person in America, as a matter of national urgency, needs to learn how to start a business. Like, I think because think about this. The only reason you deal with white people every day is because you don't know how to pay your bills without a white man hiring you for a job. Seriously, I'm not dissing. I'm not making fun of it. We've all worked for white people at some point in our lives, I'm sure. Most of us have. And that's okay. But seriously, if you knew how to make your own money, and it's not a ton, you don't have to be a millionaire, like $3,000 a month would usually be enough for most people to buy their freedom. Like, even when I was making a lot of money, like I make more now, I guess, I don't know, but even when I was a professor and I was making good money, just $2,000 or $3,000 a month would have been enough for me to give them the middle finger and walk away from that job, right? So I think all black people and all black children, as a matter of survival, as a matter of black power, as a national emergency issue, should in our state of alert commit ourselves to developing independent economic systems, starting with individual independence when it comes to our economic setup, right? Like, don't beg you can't fight white supremacy and then beg a white supremacist for a job at the same time. Just by virtue of the fact that you have to beg them for jobs means you're a white supremacist too, because you put them on a pedestal and you're going with your hand out on your knees begging them to take care of you. You can't do that. It just doesn't work, So I think that you should teach your kids. At least I talk to my kids all the time. The kids in my house all the time. Hey, Taylor, how does a person get rich in America? What should they do?
They invest in good companies.
Yes, they should invest, and they should also have their own business, or should they work for other people?
Have their own business.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay, I'm just checking. All right. So just say that. Like, little stuff like that makes a big difference. All right. So anyway, let me read some of your questions. I'm just yapping. I apologize. We have still not learned to pull our resources together to realize our economic and political power. That's you're damn right. I am Shaniqua. Is that Sheena? Sheena Weeks. Okay. We need to get all these non-black people out of the mix in these protests. Yeah, they are kind of. Well, to me, that's another type of white supremacy. The fact that white people just come in and just be messing shit up. Like, they'll move into your house and then tell you where you need to put the furniture. Like that. That's an entitlement. Like, your brain, as much as well intended as it might be, unfortunately, you're still bringing a bunch of Karens into your life who are gonna tell you what's right and what's wrong. So that's the problem with white supremacy that I've always had, is the paternalistic nature, where you somehow think that the best thing you can do for me as a black man is to teach me how to behave like a white man. That the best thing you can do for me as a black savage is to somehow civilize me to make me more European. Right? No, like telling me, I remember I was in line, I was 10 years old, and I was in line at Kings Island, and I was talking, and the white lady next to me asked me a question. I answered the fucking question, and she's correcting my grammar. And I was like, who are you old bitch? Like, why are you correcting my, and she did it 2 or 3 times, and I was like, I was 10, and just irritated. Like, who are you? I'm in line at Kings. I'm a fucking kid about to get on a roller coaster. I don't need an English and grammar lesson right now. I don't even know you, lady. But that to me is symbolic of just how annoying it can be dealing with some people that inherently in their very DNA, in the fabric of their subconscious, have been led their entire lives to believe they are superior to you. So it's hard as hell to partner with somebody who thinks that they know everything. Right? No, you don't know everything. You're not the fucking teacher. You need to sit your ass down and be the student. Seriously. We teach you. You don't teach us shit. Sit your ass down. We've been learning about you your whole life. We know more about you than you know about yourself. So we don't need you to tell us more about you. You need to learn about us if you want to be in this house. So I don't think white people in themselves are a nuisance. Right? I don't have, like, people think that because I say the things I say and I do what I do, and I run the Black Business School, that I don't like white people, or white people are not invited. And I tell them, no, like, I don't hate you. And I don't hate is not an emotion I want to carry around. That's not a healthy emotion. I don't even care enough about you to hate you. I just need you to understand that when you come in my space, we're running everything, right? That you can be here, but just understand, I had to have that conversation with a relative of mine who married, she married a white guy, And they were like, gosh, well, he's a little worried. He thinks that maybe you don't like white people. And I was like, no, that's not true. I said, I'm not going to give him any problems because he understands that when he comes in this castle, that he kisses the pinky ring of the king. Now if he came in here trying to put his testicles on my dinner table, then we would have a problem. So it's not so white people are not the issue to me. It's really white paternalistic, arrogant, supremacist thinking that somehow you want me, like somehow, I don't care if you think you're superior to me, you can keep that shit over there. But if you come to me and tell me you're superior to me in your actions and in your words, and then try to convince me to go along with that, then we're going to have a problem because you think you're superior to me, but in my space, I might be thinking I'm superior to you. Right? Seriously, like I'm not trying to use any politically incorrect language here, but if you're in my household, in my business, in my space, in my community, then white supremacy is not your biggest factor. It's going to be black supremacy all up in this motherfucker because everything African is beautiful. Everything black is wonderful. Everything black comes first. Black people matter most. Black lives matter because we don't even have to say it. We're going to have to say white lives matter just to remind them that there's anything outside of the universe of blackness that matters to us in its entirety. So I think that for us, and this is really me talking to black people too. And again, if you're white and you're listening, I don't hate you. I promise you I don't hate you. I'm really nice to everybody, including white people. But I really think as black people, you got to learn the meaning of the word sovereignty. The meaning of the word sovereignty just means I got mines, you got yours, we are good. I will just tell you the truth. And Malcolm X actually was like this as well. I think Malcolm X was a guy that could probably have a better conversation with a white supremacist than he could have with a white integrationist. Malcolm X could sit down and talk to the Klan, which he did. He talked to heads of, neo-Nazi type groups or whatever they were called at the time. And they had an understanding. It was like, look, I don't love you. You don't love me. You don't care about my people. I don't care about your people. I'm going to stay over here. You stay over there. And then maybe sometimes we'll still meet in the middle. Maybe we got to do a business deal. Maybe I have to trade my cows to get some of your chickens. But at the end of the day, there's no illusions, right? Whereas we get into this bullshit kumbaya nonsense, so this white integrationist comes in, he talks to you and says, no, we're supposed to all be one nation. We're supposed to all be, I'm colorblind. We're all supposed to be in this together. And then you go along with that shit because it sounds good and feels good, right? Like words like equality and inclusion and integration sound wonderful and fluffy and shit. But then you agree to that and then you wonder why you always end up getting shitted on. Like you're being invited over to dinner and you wonder why you always eat last. You wonder why you're not sitting at the grown-ups table. They're putting you at the kids table because there's no more seats left at the kids table, or excuse me, at the grown-ups table, and you begging for a seat at the damn table when you had a table at your house and you abandoned that table because somehow you want to go eat in the white man's house, and you don't understand that when you go eat up in another man's house, you're going to have to live by that other man's rules. So what I'm really trying to say to black people, especially black men, is you got to learn how to build a house. All that energy you spent, that you're tempted to spend begging and trying to fit in and, changing who you are and fixing up your resume and trying to make sure you walk with your butt cracked tight enough that they'll think you're one of them. Take that energy and learn that there is a preciousness in being okay with who you are and being the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And then take that energy and use it to build. Take the energy and use it to build. And at the end of the day, what's going to happen is actually you'll get more respect from everybody. You'll get more respect from yourself. You'll respect yourself more because you're not out here begging. Your woman will respect you more because women are not built to respect a man who spends all his time on his knees massaging another man's balls. That's not nature. That's not nature. It's not natural for her to want to sleep with. She wants to sleep with the alpha. If you go out in the wilderness, the female deer, the does don't want to sleep with the bitch ass beta males. They want to sleep with the alpha in the middle. So if you're on your knees constantly begging another man not to kill you, saying, please, we're victims. Why are you hurting us? And these images I'm seeing of black men crying because of the man. Like you're doing all that shit, I'm sorry, but that dryness that you hear, like, is literally her vagina shriveling up into a cracked up piece of cardboard because there is nothing in her nature that's gonna make her want to reproduce with anything other than the alpha male. So for black men, I think you have to really understand what you're doing to yourself when you're out here begging and looking pathetic because you feel somehow cheated because the white man won't cut you no breaks, or the white man won't take care of you, or he won't give you enough to eat. Like, that's just not, that does not work out for you. It does not work well for you. So anyway, I think that overall we have to learn the right way to play this game. I think that as black men in general and black people, sure. Sorry, my phone's telling me there's time for me to go meet my mama. I am my family. We have our family Zoom every Sunday where we talk business and all that. We're trying to build our empire. So we get together, talk business, talk about the future, all of that. I encourage you to do the same thing. Think of your family as a family business. Think of your family as the greatest empire that ever lived. Think of your family as something that you can, protect, cherish, build upon, put in an LLC, do all of that shit. Take pride in what you got. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we have a deficit in pride. I don't really see a lot of this as just the problem of white people. I think white people certainly can change their behavior. I think white people certainly have their issues. White people certainly get on my goddamn nerves half the time when they start acting too white. But I don't believe that it's my job to go through life looking like some of these black people who spend all their time constantly trying to teach white people how to be nice to black people. I hate that shit. That is so pathetic to me. That is so weak to me. That is so sad to me. Like, you're literally going around asking for charity. Like, you're literally going around, like, they kick you upside the head and you start praying for them motherfuckers. Like, they shoot you in the face, and next thing you know, your congressman is singing Amazing Grace at the microphone, right? It's the craziest thing. And the only thing I can think about is that I think it links back to slavery. I think it's slave thinking that makes us do that. And I'm just telling you that it's okay to stand up. It's okay to get up off your knees. It's okay for you to say, I'm as good as he is. In fact, not only am I as good as he is, but I think I can actually be better. I think that I can get together with the people I got around me and we can do something special. I don't have as much money as he's got, but I got 1.3 trillion in my community to work with, and if we corral that money, I think we can do some pretty amazing things. It's okay for you to say, because here's the thing, you spend a lot of your life being trained to operate on a deficit model. First thing they tell you is that, well, you're disadvantaged because you're black, because white people have this much money, you've only got that much money. But still, this much money, the money that black people have, is actually 4 times greater than the gross domestic product of Colombia. Colombia has their own schools. Colombia has their own businesses. Colombia has their own professional sports leagues. Colombia has their own media outlets. So stop telling me that black people can't create anything because we don't have anything. The one thing we don't have that we really could use is a sense of pride and dignity. Because if you look at it, have you ever seen a really dignified motherfucker, like a really dignified person who it might be somebody's old grandma who ain't got 2 nickels to rub together in the bank, but she's got her pride, right? She might have one outfit in her closet, but she's gonna look sharp as hell in that outfit. She's gonna carry herself a certain way. You only speak to her in a certain way. She presents herself to the world in a certain way. Like, that's dignity, and dignity has nothing to do with money. Money. In fact, there are some really undignified people who have lots of money in the bank. So you don't need white people to give you reparations for you to regain your dignity. Dignity starts with self-love and you saying, I am somebody, I am worthy, and I'm going to sit down at this table and command my respect. And if I don't get my respect, I'm going to go somewhere else where I will be respected, right? So create your own, black people. I mean, this is like a scenario to me. All of this constantly screams, create your own. That's what it does. I mean, every time you start mixing in and blending in and trying to do the kumbaya, fitting in integration bullshit, you end up looking stupid. You end up mad. You end up frustrated. You end up feeling left out. And the reality is that you've been looking for love in all the wrong places. Your love should start inside of here. So start loving yourself, man. I'm gonna tell you, that is the best feeling in the world. And it's something that money just came by. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say. I hope that my thoughts are helpful to you. I apologize if anything I said offended you. Just know that if you come back, I will probably offend you again because I say what's on my mind. But I say it with the best of intention in hopes that I can help somebody to solve a problem that has not been solved with our pre-existing solution set. The things we've done to this point have not worked, so we must try something different. I think we can agree on that. So try that. Start with yourself. Pay attention to what's happening in the world, but don't internalize all of that shit. You focus on you and your family and being strong and being intelligent and being capable and having your dignity, and I guarantee you good things are going to happen, all right? So be one, everybody. Type hashtag be one in the chat. Let me know you're black first. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Once again, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is TheRealBoyceWatkins. And if you want to join the Black Stock Market Challenge, you can go to theblackstockmarketchallenge.com. THE, that's theblackstockmarketchallenge.com. Thanks for listening. I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.